Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for tonight's program, Cooking Up a Conversation. My name is Helen Liu, and I am the Programming and Partnerships Manager at Cary Library. Tonight, we will be learning how to make dumplings to celebrate the Lunar New Year. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to thank the Cary Library Foundation, whose support enables us to bring programs like tonight's event to you. This program will be recorded and will be posted to the library's YouTube channel. If you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A. This program is made possible by Cary Library in partnership with the Chinese American Association of Lexington, CAL, the Cary Library Foundation, and the Community Endowment of Lexington, CEL. Now I'd like to introduce our guests for the evening. Wei Ding is a Cary Library Foundation board member and Cal Culture Committee co-chair. Mary Ellen Ringo is the Director of Development for the Cary Library Foundation. Ann Basie is co-chair of the Community Endowment of Lexington and a Cary Library Foundation board member with well over a decade of volunteer experience in Lexington. Jessica Chi has been a Lexington resident since 2011. She loves to cook and bake. And our special guest for the evening is Hua Wang. Hua is Cal's president and was a founding board member of CEL and a board member of the Cary Library Foundation. Wei, Mary Ellen, Ann, Jessica, and Hua, welcome. I am so excited to get started.
Us too. I'm feeling hungry at all of this.
Hello, happy Lunar New Year. We're in my kitchen. We're going to show you how to make dumplings. And then in Chinese culture, making dumplings is a family event. For tonight's event, we feel this is the event for the Lexington community. So we have three major organizations work up together and to show how to make dumplings. It's a tradition to make a dumpling for all the Chinese holidays, especially the New Year. So today we'll teach you how to make with the two fillings, is the vegan one and the pork one. And for the skin, we have three. One is we want to make the outside is the green and the inside is the white. And the second part we want to like a tiger skin. The third one is just a traditional white. So we will start from the dough. I made three kinds of the dough. The first one is the orange one. The orange one made with, instead of using the water, we use the carrot juice. This is the green dough. Green dough we made with the spinach juice. The third dough is just the normal white dough. We also want to make the tiger skin strip. The strip like this one, the brown one. The brown dough we use the cocoa powder. So let's starting from the green one. We use the green one is try to imitate the cabbage. You see the root is the white and the leaf is the green. So when we do the dough, we first roll the green one. Made it as a square. I think it's a rectangle.
What is the green colored with to make it look so green? Is it really cabbage or what do you make in the dough?
We use the spinach.
Spinach.
Yeah. We first clean the spinach and put into the boiled water for 10 seconds.
I see.
Then get it out, put it into the blender, add some water to make the juice. Then we put the flour inside and make the dough.
Got it.
Yeah.
And do you put yeast in this dough at all? Is it
No.
rise? Not at all. Okay.
No. Because finally, when we cook it, we put into the boiling water. So it's no need to add the yeast.
And you chill the dough for a while? Does it make it easier to handle if you chill it after you make it, or can you make it right away? So you need to chill it.
Yeah, you need chili.
You need probably need 1 hour.
Okay.
Make it easy handle.
So feel it, it's very soft. So it's supposed, so basically my mom told me,
Spring.
It's got a spring.
okay.
Yeah.
So my mom told me the dough should be as soft as feel your earlobe. So it's really as soft as the earlobe, then the flour is in the right softness. Yeah, this is what my mom told me. So if I use harder, then put more water.
Okay.
So
And what did your mother tell you?
So it's like a baby butt.
Excellent.
see
Yeah.
here. So this is how it looks like. So if you cut it-
Jessica, can you just tell the audience how you wrapped the green dough around the white?
For the green one, we just use the roller to roll as a rectangle. Then made the white one as the cylinder and put the cylinder inside the rectangle and roll it. Finally, it's more like this one. This one is.
you can put it under room temperature. It's totally fine.
I see.
Under room temperature.
Because normally they can be just in a container,
I see.
but here she made them so it's easier to handle.
So
And
it's
the
more like
transport.
this one. So inside is the white cylinder. So outside is like the rectangle and the roll it like this. Then we use, we cut it. So make it like this. The inside is the white circle. The outside is like the green donut.
The ring, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we also have another question. Can you freeze the dough and roll it out later?
You can do it. Just put into the room temperature for 2 hours before you handle it.
And this is how it looks like after you make the dumpling. See? So Jessica, I'm going to show you how to do this in a moment.
Some flour.
Mary Ann and Andy want to do the
Sure.
skin together.
Okay.
You need to have some.
So let me
flour.
show you first.
Yeah.
First, you have the round. So made it a little bigger. So this is the roller. Like the result is you want the inside is thicker because that's the bottom of the dumpling. You don't want it to be too thin. Otherwise, the filling will come out inside the boiling water. So when you roll, you try to roll like this. One, so you turn.
Looks excellent. Can we have Mary Ann to show how to do
So
this?
it's a bigger.
They
And
want to
when you
show
feel
a
it,
beginner.
the inside is thicker and the outside is thinner.
Yes, Mary Ann is confident enough to show how to do this from scratch. You have to do this from scratch.
Okay, so this is a beginner to show that everyone can do this. So
Yes.
first,
Excellent.
put a little flour on and also on your hands, so it's
Yes.
easy, they don't stick.
Uh-huh.
And then really the trick is I do this about 1/10 the speed of Jessica. But you take the rolling pin and you roll out just the green because you want the white part to stay thick because that's where the dumpling filling is going to go. So we're really just making the green circle thin, and you just hold the dumpling with your other hand and turn it.
So good.
So just keep turning it over and over, little circles with your hand while you roll it out with the other. But again, just the green part, because you're trying to make that white part still stay fat. And the green part is going to be the thin part that will make decorative. So just, they go about 1,000,000 miles an hour, but I'm a little slower, but I'm trying to speed up and show you. We can be happy. I'm learning. Here we go. Okay, don't bow yet. So that's just step one. The fluting fancy part is a little bit harder, but Jessica, pop in and show us now what to do. Filling next, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the folding. Okay.
So we first learn the traditional one. The traditional one is like, if you are the beginner, just put not too much filling. Okay. So you put the filling in the
And
center.
Mary Ann will show the non-vegan option. Okay. We're gonna do the.
So you put them together, you snap the center part. Then starting from the right, you fold the back first. second, third. So this side is finished. Then for the left side, fold 1, 2, and 3.
Good present.
Beautiful. I'm going to make it one thing for you to show them. And then
That's it. That's it.
What type of filling is that?
Okay, this feeding is the because I'm a vegan, this is the vegan feeding. So I put the green chive and the mushroom and the dry tofu together.
So what is the traditional filling?
the pork option.
There is no traditional one. There is maybe hundreds of different types.
Do you have
Basically,
coffee
you can put anything inside as long as it's not too much water. But for example, for the cabbage, when the cabbage has the salt, it will have lots of the water come out. So what we did is we cut the cabbage to the small pieces, then put the salt inside and wait for 15 minutes. When the water of the cabbage come out, so we use the kitchen paper towel to try to get the water out and put the dry cabbage into the feeding.
The pork. You can also do
there's
the
cabbage
beef.
in the pork.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
basically you can put anything like the small pieces of the green bean, the cucumber, pork,
Squash. yeah.
chicken, yeah, anything.
Squash.
Chocolate.
Squash sounds
Squash.
great.
Chocolate.
Okay, so Jessica,
Uh-huh.
in the back, right?
Okay, lower.
Yep. One. How come that's not
You
saying
want to do the
Jessica?
back option or not back
Probably
option?
too much.
Whichever
flour,
one.
yeah.
Pork, do we have
Two,
it?
Yes, you
two,
can do that.
and then
Then we
three.
have a separate
Just
because
not
we need
quite
to-
as beautiful as yours, but
So,
I'm getting the gist.
Yeah,
Okay,
so this side.
yeah, so then one, it's like pleating it if I sew, so it's like pleating it for sewing. Two, if I think of it that way,
Yeah.
makes it a little
Excellent.
easier.
Wow.
Very nice, Anne. Well done.
I don't know, we'll see.
So
Three.
the dumpling is actually the shape
Getting
of
there.
a
Give me 5 to 10
Chinese
years, and I
money.
might get to
Yuan
look like
bao.
a work of
Oh,
art.
It's like
Yuan bao.
golden nuggets.
Yeah, golden nuggets, yes, golden nuggets.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Very nice,
Very
very
nice.
nice. Lovely.
Now, Marianne, I'm going to demonstrate the non-vegan option.
Okay. Also, Wa has been kind enough to give Anne and I these special fancy yellow bracelets with whistles. Do you want to, Wa, let the community know what these are about and how they can get them?
Hello, everyone. So this is Hua. So all of us are wearing the yellow whistle, and some of you actually got it, in our prior events when we're distributing them. And so tonight, obviously, is a moment for celebration. We're celebrating the Year of the Tiger. But yellow whistle also carries a special meaning. Not only this is a sign, to show solidarity. So there's a yellow, it's beautiful. But more important, it also has real utility. It is, symbols that we want our voice to be heard. And when you're in danger, you can actually really use it too. Right? So this is a project started with Oscar Town, and they're giving out millions of this throughout the US. And so we're very, happy here today, a happy moment, but we don't forget that we're making all this together. So.
Awesome. Thank
Go
you.
on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's,
So here's the pork filling. Is there anything in this besides raw ground pork?
yes, just the.
Just
the
raw
ginger,
ground pork or some ginger too? Any garlic
ginger,
or
yeah,
just?
garlic, onion. Okay.
So some yummy
Yes.
flavorings
Mhm.
and not too much. And what kind of fancy closure should we try?
So,
Was there one that was like a cabbage Or-
yes, this is the.
or is
do
it
you
just
want
the
to show?
pleating?
Oh, I don't know if I remember how to do it.
Or this
Well,
one,
that's
this is
good.
the one that Jessica did that's quite aspirational. Jessica, do you want us to walk, right, show us how, on this one, how to do that?
Yeah, let's see.
Okay, the second one, we want to show how to fold. First, you just put them together and snap tightly. Like
That's
this.
good.
So at home, if you are the beginner, you can just make the dumpling like this. As long as it's no filling will leak, it's will a good one. But now we want to make a fancy pattern. So first, starting from the right, we fold like this.
So it's interlaced.
So you keep folding. That one's looking like it's fluted or braided.
Yeah,
That is a
It's
thing of
really
beauty.
beautiful. That is really beautiful.
it's got fancy.
And Wei, what was it that you said about dumplings being like money?
Yes, golden nugget is the shape of the golden nuggets in the.
Just like this, I think this.
Yeah, so that's more
Yeah.
like golden nuggets, yeah, like
Like
the,
this
so this is like in Asian days, the gold is considered one of the hard currency.
Mhm.
And so the golden nuggets are made in this shape. And so dumplings is sort of in that shape, so it signals prosperity.
Okay.
Besides,
Excellent.
actually, to speaking of it, there are some stories about the dumpling, right? People say, where does dumplings come from? There's a different version of it. But one of them, it's related to what they called, they said about 1800 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And this Chinese medicine master, Dumpling, right?
Okay.
He went home and he found out a lot of people have frostbite in their ears.
Okay.
Okay, so then he used the traditional medicine to cure the cold, all these things. So he made them, and then he take those and then having the meat and veggies together and put them into this shape. It's really, if you look at the dumpling, it's really like an ear, like an ear. So those times they call it a 角耳 instead of 角, means the charming ears. So the idea is distributing them, right, to the community. And he actually has medicine in the food too, right?
Okay,
People
got it.
start, the cold get cured and their frostbite ears got cured too. And so then from that, so people, so in memory of him, and people say, well, make charming ears, which is the dumpling, the shape of dumpling. But then on top of it, you also have the, has the shape of the golden nuggets. So, yeah, so it's become a tradition. I mean, in China, around the Lunar New Year, there's 7 days before the Lunar New Year, you celebrate, a few days after you celebrate it. Most of it is started with dumplings. So the 7 days
Okay.
before, you call it that, prelude to the Lunar New Year, you eat dumplings. 5 days after the New Year, on the 5th day of the New Year, you eat dumpling again. We just say, why don't we just eat dumpling every day?
I like it.
Yeah.
Like a good idea to me.
Yeah.
Someone asked, can we learn how to make the filling step by step? And I know you made this ahead of time, but can you kind of just go through the steps to make the filling? And then after that, someone asked, what are the ingredients in the dough itself?
Okay. So this one is I made the vegan filling. The vegan filling, the green one is the green chives. So we just clean it and cut to the small pieces like this. And the second ingredient is the dried tofu. We bought it, you can find it from the H Mart. We just cut into the small pieces. The third ingredient is the mushroom. You just cut the mushroom into the small pieces. And first I used the frying pan to make it, add some green onion. That can make the mushroom more delicious. So when I have these three ingredients, I just put them together. So add the sesame oil, add the salt, that's it. But remember, you put the salt just before you make the dumpling, because the salt can make all the ingredient has the water. So you want the filling be as dry as possible. So for the dough, for the green dough, like this, I first clean the spinach. I think I used 150 gram spinach. and put into the boiling water for 10 seconds. Then take it out into the cold water, then put into the blender, add, I think, another 80-gram water. Finally made around 200-gram spinach juice. Then add 2 cups of the flour, make the dough. So the basic rule is that 1 cup of flour, you add 105-gram water, either water or the spinach juice. The second dough is the same thing, the orange one, because this year, the zodiac of this year is the tiger. We try to make the symbolic tiger skin. So this orange one, just replace the spinach juice, use the carrot juice, the same amount of ingredients. I think that's it. Wei, you can talk about the non-veggie feeding.
Non-veggie. For the non-veggie option, it's really the way you make burger. Okay, so it's just like the way you mix the pork or the beef for the burger. You can do the same thing for the dumpling filling. Okay, and then if you don't want to eat the whole meat, you can put any vegetable you like into the pork. But as Jessica said, because we don't want lots of water in the filling, so that is why if you want to put vegetable into the pork or meat, the beef, what you need to do is you chop the vegetable into pieces, right? So like here. So have the have the cabbage, right? So what you do is usually if you have the cabbage, we want to eat the stem instead of the leaves because it tastes better of the stem in the filling. So then you just cut this into, because you want to have the small pieces. So this is what you do. So you basically, you first do this. You just put them into the small pieces. So whether you want to have the vegetable into the pork or beef is totally up to you. Because sometimes people like to eat a little bit vegetable into the filling. This is what you do.
That's a start.
Okay. So I think we should cut this into small pieces. So for this part, I think everybody knows how to do this with the small pieces. But then the one part we need to do is, let me show you, because we want to bring the water out of the vegetable before we put this into the pork filling. So here, so just a little bit demonstration. Okay, we have the small pieces, right? So what you need to do is, I just have, okay, so you have a bowl, then you put cabbage into it. And then how much vegetable you should put into the filling is really up to you. So as Jessica said, there's so many different types of filling. You can do any filling you like Marianne said, you can have chocolate. It's totally up to you. And actually, when the family cook dumpling together, especially in the New Year event, what we do is we put something into dumpling, make it a special dumpling. You could have dates or even candy in the dumpling. The people who get it will means he get this lucky one. Okay, so here the way you put the water, you want to extract the water out of vegetable before you put it in the filling. Otherwise, the filling will not taste good. So that is why you put a little bit salt into it. Okay, a little bit salt, not too much. Then you just mix it and wait a little bit, maybe 5 minutes. And then let's wait for 5 minutes before I put this into the pork. Okay. If you're really picky about your dumpling, you're supposed to do everything from scratch. So that means you should buy the whole meat from the store and really manually. You cannot use any machine. Okay. You have to use your knife to really manually chop everything into ground. Because that's the way you're serious about dumpling. Okay. If you don't have time, of course, you can buy the ground beef, ground pork from the store. It's totally fine. Okay.
And
Just
Wayne,
don't
tell
tell
me
them.
again about like when you say you should really squeeze in the filling
yes.
together.
Okay.
About that piece of it.
Yes, so for the dumpling, actually, there's one final step is actually very important. So we actually, how to say this in English? 好吃不在褶上.
I'll just say, well, you can see, so right, so we just saw the intricate footings of what Jessica made. But then they said, there were ways saying that, the deliciousness, the tastiness, the yumminess of a dumpling doesn't come from the footings.
Okay.
So then it's going to be coming the perfect combination of the fillings and the dough.
And also one final step, we say this is squeeze the dumpling. So what you do is like here. So you put the dumpling, in the, between your both hands. Then you just use your thumb. And then what's the name of this finger? Index finger.
Index.
So your thumb index finger hold one part of dumpling. Then the other hand thumb index finger, and you make sure you don't broke it. Okay, you squeeze it. So why should I squeeze it? The idea you squeeze it is you basically make a close contact between the filling and the skin. And then the filling will come together. It's going to taste much better. So squeeze it. Okay, so you squeeze it.
So now we start to make the tiger skin. The tiger skin is like, there's three pieces. So the outside, the left and the right, we use the carrot dough, and the middle one, we use the white dough. We put them together, and then we cut.
So those are what, quarter of an inch?
Yeah, it's about right, yeah.
About right?
Yeah, 1 centimeter.
1 centimeter.
Yeah.
So Jessica, when you put the dough together, when you have the three strips together, and they seems to be stick well,
Yeah.
very well. Is that because you made the dough, they're soft and
Softer,
moisture,
yeah.
right? Mo-
If
yeah.
your dough can't glue together, you just use some water, make it glue together.
What's the trick to keeping it soft? I mean, how do you make sure your dough doesn't get hard? Is it getting the water and flour right? Or is it how you
I
handle
think
it?
the ingredient should be right, and also you need to wait more than 1 hour.
Okay. So you let it rest for an hour.
Yeah.
Before
Yeah.
you start doing anything with it.
Yeah.
Got
So
it.
that's actually, that 1 hour, it's important, because that's where the water and the dough, they
Yeah.
will be perfectly meshed together. So this is the same thing
Got
as
it.
when you're making bread.
Okay, yeah.
There's a bread about like, now they have so-called no kneading bread. Like
Yeah.
you just leave them hours.
Hours,
And
yeah.
then they will mash together.
So
Yeah.
Anne and Hua, can you help Jessica to make the tiger stripe?
Okay.
So that means cut it up.
Make tiger stripe for Jessica and Marianne.
So now this is the cocoa dough, the little cocoa dough.
Should we
we
slice
make
it or just stretch it?
This
and
is
we
already,
just- whatever.
so it will be just placed on it.
You basically make the stripe of the tiger skin.
Do you cook in sesame oil or neutral oil and add sesame oil later?
Add the sesame oil later, before you add the salt. So you put the sesame oil is just like give all the vegetable
A coating.
a coating.
Okay,
Then it's just like lock the water of the vegetable inside before you add the salt.
You basically don't want to have any water inside your filling.
As
Okay.
much as possible. Otherwise, it's difficult to snap the skin together. So first we roll like the medium size. Then we want to put the strip like this. Then we change the strip down, and the roll is bigger.
So you basically.
Yeah.
Enough. It's like
tiger stripes.
dagger skirt. You see, the folding, the first snap the center,
Yes.
then starting from the right,
Well, I mean,
You're good at
for the
this, right?
fall,
I-
back,
Yes.
I
So
cook regular bread.
First of
That's no
all-
idea.
So you just do
Yeah.
this.
I just do it with my,
Second
my
of
hand,
all-
even just.
and the third fold. So we finish this part. And for here, left, you fold, 2, and 3.
And it's beautiful. Look at that.
And are you squeezing it?
This one you can't squeeze it.
It's great, it's going to, make the shape, doesn't look nice.
So we can try the second one. So here is the dough. We first made the medium size. Then we put you just randomly with the stripe. Then turn around, make the stripe. Down, then roll, roll, and roll. So let's fold again.
So now,
So we put the center together. So starting from the right to the back, the first fold, the second fold, the third one. So just snap the rest. To the left, first fold, second fold, third fold, and snap.
Beautiful.
You make it look so easy.
Now,
know,
how much
the-
cocoa did you put in to get the brown stripes?
I think it's just a 20 gram.
20 grams of cocoa?
20, yeah, 20 and 40 gram of the flour. So
Okay.
just a 1 to 2, yeah.
Okay, got it.
now Mary Ellen going to show how to do the tiger stripe.
Oh.
Okay, you try it.
Pressure's
Let's go
on.
to the end.
Okay,
So-
I'm going to show the tiger stripe.
While they're doing this, right, basic cooking, right, the most difficult for us is we're actually looking, see, when are we gonna get taste of it?
No kidding. I was wondering, do you boil these or do you
Yeah,
fry
this
them up?
is a really,
We can fry them, we can boil them.
yeah, so
We have 2 options.
so the Chinese dumplings, right, the traditional, there's 3 ways of actually cooking them. Right, you can boil them,
Yeah.
and you can steam them,
Mhm.
and then you can pan fry them.
We can.
So the pan fry them is sometimes it's referred as a pot stickers,
Mhm.
and that's a pan fry.
Ah,
Yeah.
got it.
So the steam ones is not
wait,
used
let
as
me finish.
often, but
Yes,
sometimes,
finish. Yeah.
the steam ones come in because you want to keep the perfect shape.
Mhm.
And so that's tradition is 3. So I think,
So
yeah,
just roll the
So which
tiger
do you
stripe
like
into it?
best?
I mean,
Do I just roll into it?
No.
oh, it's all
You
depends.
just
I
turn
think,
around.
yeah, so for different
it down.
feelings
Yeah,
and
and
different
roll it.
occasions,
Yeah.
and you actually like try that.
I
But
think
like
that's
think of
still
for
too
many of
thin.
the kids, they like the pan fry.
Is that okay?
Okay.
Because that's adds a bit more flavor with the
So that's
oil, the
medium,
fry,
that's
right?
medium.
Yeah, but I
Less
think
filling.
that
Yeah.
the true, just eating dumplings, that is the truest form, it's a
Yeah.
boiled one.
Okay,
Yeah, the steam one typically you use skin is very thin.
okay,
And so if you boil them and they're likely gonna break.
okay.
So you use them, so you thin skin, and so those ones you try to steam them, so keep the shape.
Okay,
And I imagine the boil or the steaming is the healthiest.
Yeah,
Boil one, yeah.
yeah, boil one is true.
We can
And then the
have
thing
all
is, not only when you're eating the boiled dumpling,
Mhm.
you also drink the water
Water.
that was
Oh.
used to cook it, because that's actually in Chinese, we just feel like that's a perfect mesh,
Do
combination.
you drink it hot or the cold?
Well, hot, of
Hot
course.
one.
Yeah.
Oh,
hot
do
one.
you flavor it all? Or you just
No, we
drink the
don't
water
flavor. I
straight?
mean, you
just-
could flavor, but most of you don't even know
You just
flavor.
drink that water hot.
Yeah,
Interesting.
just after you cook the dumpling. And there's not that much flavor because the dumpling is, like
Oh,
just kind of way
interesting.
making it well sealed.
Yeah.
Nothing is leaking out,
Yeah.
but it does have that fresh flour,
Nice.
and
Yeah.
that's there, yeah.
It's too thin, so there wasn't a lot of space for filling, so that was the problem here, folks. But anyway, it's still gonna taste great.
And it's a creative too.
And now it's going to demonstrate how to make the tiger skin.
okay, got my,
Oh, this one is good.
Yeah.
so, yeah,
Okay,
you need to be able
Spread it
to
out a bit, yeah.
spread it out. Okay, I think I need to practice that for about,
Wow, this Looks
Years.
beautiful.
Oh,
So
wait.
you're a
not
good
gonna-
painter, because this is like a painting it,
So
right?
you want
Yeah.
the maybe the non-lag option.
Okay, all right.
So 那是non-lag option. 对，这个是。
We have a few questions. Was there any cornstarch added to the vegan filling?
No. No
Okay.
cornstarch.
Okay. And did you use room temperature water, or does it need to be warm or boiling for the dough?
Just a room temperature, the cold water,
Do you add a little bit salt to it?
Yes.
the water.
No, yeah, the water for when you're making the dough.
Oh, the dough has, I think I used just a quarter spoon,
Okay,
quarter spoon salt into.
Okay.
And do you salt the water when you boil it?
No, concentrate.
No.
You
So
don't
hard.
boil the water. But you mean here? You don't,
Yeah.
you don't put salt. You don't have to.
Okay.
but it seems to be some people say if you in order for the dumpling not to break, you put a little bit salt in the water,
Yeah.
it helps to hold the shape. Is that
Yes.
true? Yeah.
Yes, I
It
think
is
so.
true. Okay.
'Cause-
I'm just thinking like people say to salt the water for pasta. So I was
Yeah.
wondering if
Yeah.
that's sort of similar.
Yeah,
in
we
that
do
Yeah,
the
that
same
has
thing.
a outlet
Great.
system.
Wow. Well, I
And you're a
teacher.
natural.
That's doing great.
So no, you should come here to
Yeah,
show people. See?
Showcase.
Yeah.
Show
Okay, I'm
off.
starting to
It's
get
time
it.
for Anne to show
I have
off.
to say that Jessica is an amazing teacher and she's incredibly patient.
Yeah, you should give another shot.
Bar's too
There you
high.
go.
What cut of pork would you buy at the market?
Well, you can answer that question.
So basically, you want to have a certain percentage of fat with the pork. If you have 100% lean pork, it's not going to taste good. So, and then usually we want to have the shoulder, the shoulder part of the pork. The shoulder, it tastes good. Okay. And then actually for my secret ingredient, usually what I want to do is I want to put pork and beef together.
Oh,
Actually.
yeah.
Yeah, it's actually tastes better.
Swedish meatballs.
Yes, you want to, you have to, then you bring in the flavor of
Yeah.
pork and beef,
Mhm.
it tastes better. And if you like, you can have the shrimp inside the pork as well. And
Yeah,
you can have chicken, because you can have chicken, ground
and
chicken.
also egg, scrambled egg.
Yes, scrambled egg, you can add all kinds of things you like for the dumpling.
Oh, I
filling.
think I
Okay.
eggs.
That sounds
So,
delicious. Someone asked, how long does it take to steam?
So for the regular option, 10 minutes, non-regular option, probably 15 minutes. So, but then you should steam them when the water began, when the steam is out, then you steam them.
When the
Okay,
water is boiling.
so
yeah.
next, Marianne is going to show you how to do, remember we have the cabbage with sauce on it, right? Marianne is going to show you how you can extract the water out of
The paper towel, that's maybe
Yeah.
easier. You just put the cabbage inside.
Oh, and squeeze not with your hand, but just, oh, I see.
So how long have you had it sitting in the salt?
maybe 15
15
minutes.
minutes, yeah.
Okay, got it.
And
So you put the
usually-
cabbage into the paper towel and hold it.
Okay. So the water is out. That's cool.
Or if you have the cheesecloth,
Yeah, cheesecloth, yeah.
that's better, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Then this is
Yeah.
the cabbage inside the. So the another
Oh, that
trick
looks good.
which will make a delicious dumpling filling is you can see that the meat of the pork is very sticky, right?
Yeah, how do you do that?
So you just stir, you keep stirring it. Okay, keep doing it
In one direction.
in one direction. The trick is we have to do it in one direction, then you do it in a crazy way.
Yeah.
So that is why the making dumpling is a family event. So everybody should participate. Like Juan do the.
Yeah, we have a role,
Juan
yeah.
demonstrate how you do this in a crazy way.
No, just keep doing it. This is like, family, we've been called around. Can you stir this? You do this. When it's become, sticky, watery, it's almost like the juice is coming out, they're sticking together. I will ask, say, is it ready yet? No, keep doing it. Okay. And so
Yes.
when it's gonna be ready, yeah.
You want to feel everything stick together. So the idea for the building is you want everything, mixed together.
But in this case, do you put some cornstarch there?
No,
No.
we don't do,
Okay.
we don't do that.
All right, but how about the egg?
But you can have egg inside it if you feel the feeling a little bit too dry.
Yeah.
So basically.
Because egg also
yeah.
can acting as the
Combine
agent to
it.
stick them
Yeah.
together.
Combine
Yes.
Yeah, combine it, that's right.
So it's kind of like the melting pot of American culture, right? So
Yeah.
they come from different sources, vegetable, pork, beef. But if you keep stirring them, they actually together and give you much better flavor. So that means 1 + 1 greater than 2. Okay.
You know what, I would do one, just,
可以蒸，可以蒸几个，
okay, so
还要蒸，我基本上可以蒸。那你蒸吗？
Here, do you want some tigers?
yeah, I'll do some, so I'll do a, see if I've been watching, so now I can, you know. contribute.
I'm gonna use the spoon oven to steam. You have steam oven? Yes, I have steam oven. I have the traditional.
So this will be, you know, according to Jessica, right? You want to make it the center thick and the out layers thinner. So now can you also, and can you put the tiger strip? You're a perfect decorator.
He overestimates me.
Yeah.
Let's see. These are here, we'll have the tiger short story too.
Yeah.
How's that?
Good.
And what, flip it over and give it a good
Yeah.
swat.
Yeah, and also I guess just to mesh them together, right? So you need them together.
Now, one thing
Okay.
I was wondering about that, I
Yeah.
wanted to ask just because, can you have too much flour here? Because I know from baking, when I baked bread with my mom, she would say, don't have too much flour.
Yeah,
You
so.
don't wanna-
Yeah, you don't want
Get it to
to,
be
you want
tough.
to the, yes, right, and also you don't want to, because the skins are perfectly soft right now,
Yeah.
right? If you, also the dough, but if you're adding too much, you know, flour here, it's gonna dry it up. And
Yeah.
also coating it too. Yeah,
Okay,
so you want to just have enough so they don't get sticky.
okay.
I think that's, but Jessica is an expert, so we should let her do.
Oh, sounds like you know something about dumplings too.
Well, I don't typically do folding part, typically I just making the skin, the toe part.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll try to do what Jessica has done. Look, this is I'm learning it, okay? So this is the first style, so we fold it, we close it in the middle. Then we're gonna fold 3 times from the right, and that's 3 times, okay? And then we do the
Wow,
same
look at
thing
that.
to the left side too, 3 times, 3 times. And then we can actually also do what the way was doing, giving a real tight script.
Okay.
So now we have a tiger
And now you're
skin
going to
dumpling.
be doing your own cooking show along with Jessica?
Sure. No, my favorite the cooking show is doing noodles. So,
So we're going to cook the dumplings in 3 different ways. We're going to fry them, we're going to boil them, I'm going to steam them. Okay.
I think we should take 1 minute while this is all cooking and give a pitch for volunteering in Lexington. It's
yes.
how I met Hua at CEL and through the Library Foundation, and Wei at CEL, and Anne at Bridge School PTA, and now I've met Jessica through here. So it's really, it's a wonderful way to meet people that you wouldn't otherwise get to know in Lexington, and really expand your network of friends here in town, and learn lots from other people in the community.
that's very
And lots
true.
and lots and lots of different opportunities to get involved, things that why you've been in the Historical Society, CEL, on, the Library Foundation. Ann and I were in LAF together. There's just so many opportunities to get involved, but it is a great way to get to know people.
Yeah, so Anne, why don't you say something? How try
CEL, well, I'm co-chair of CEL, and what I love about CEL is that it reaches across the community. So CEL is a grant-making nonprofit where we take and have a competitive grant process, and we give grants out to nonprofits in our community. And you would not believe how much volunteer work goes on in Lexington. It's pretty impressive. We cover grants to organizations that work in the environment. We work with organizations that are in the arts and in health and human services and in community building.
Yeah, so this is actually Marianne, and Anne said it very well. You know, like this is where you get to know people who are like-minded and with the community spirit. Because I was thinking about the CEL, right? So that many years ago, I can't even talk to, you know, there was several wonderful ladies. You know, they got together. 3 of them at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was sitting in a meeting only with 5 or 6 people. We said we need to start something called a community endowment of Lexington. And we said, what's that for? They said, well, we have LEF, right? I mean, both, Lexington Education Foundation. But then there's everything else. So then we said we don't really have a mechanism to support everything else besides education. And that's how the CEL idea got started. And at the time, right, the idea, the charge was in 5 years, we have to raise $1 million as an endowment. Yeah, so then that's where we get into here. And I remember vividly, there's a number of milestones to make it happen. And there was a time that we had this massive family challenge. And then, so the Cal community stepped up. We basically said, we're gonna do our part and to make, that drive challenge successful. So in the end, if you look at the CL funders, and there's several Chinese Americans families as a funder there. And Cal itself did fundraising to make Cal itself a funder, civic funder for the CEL as well. So at the time, actually, this is also on the heels that Cal just had a hugely successful so-called Cal for Carry funding. Right? So that was renovating the teens room and children's room. And in that case, this is actually one story, behind the scenes story I want to tell everybody a little bit. So when Jean Kruger, that time the chair came to me, she said, Sophia Ho said we should look for you to do the fundraising. Because she said this is the time to pass the baton. And I was asked Jean, I said, how much money you think we should help you to raise? Jean said, how about 25K? And I was looking at Jean, I said, no, we're gonna raise 50K. And Jim was telling me that I never saw a person who said, can you raise 25K? You said, I'll raise more. And I told Jing, I think the reason that I said this is because this is to give us a community a target that's meaningful. Because 25K, what's 25? It's almost sounds like a random number. But at a time, the children's, the teen space need to raise more than 500K. I mean, it's actually more than that, but then the foundation was chipping 250,000. And so he said, our community is about 10% of the entire Lexington. So our share is a fixed 10% of 500K to 60K. And I said, that's the goal we're gonna meet, and that's the message we can take to our community.
Not know that story.
Yeah, so
That's
in
very
the
cool.
end, right, we actually raised the 75K. And then there's more than 400 families and the business contributed as well. At the time, the other goal for Cal for Carry, our goal was say, not only we're gonna raise the 50K, but we're also getting 50% participation from all families, Chinese families. So we saw that the total number of families about 800 at the time. So we meet that goal with over 400 families involved.
I always think that's the power of community, is if you can get a lot of donors working
right.
together for a cause,
Yeah.
then you really have everybody contributing and really invested in projects.
Yeah, so we were really, impressed and thrilled with the community response. And we're forever, grateful to the community, for making all these things happen. That's right.
You make a major role in making things happen.
Yeah. So that's why part of it we meant to say that it's a family dinner today, right? So today's community is the family. And we're doing this event, but it's often we're having this so-called, dinner table conversations.
Yep.
And this is our dinner table conversation, and to talk about the wonderful community, Lexington is, and all the wonderful people. I often, so Marilyn said, I often say, when you do volunteers, right, you're really working with the most beautiful group of people. It's really true. So it's a beautiful people.
And speaking of beautiful, these dumplings
my
are
Lord.
looking
Look at
quite
those.
beautiful. I don't know if you can get a close up or not, but
So-
Jessica is
Yeah, I think.
working her magic. She's turning them over
So
very
let
quickly
me-
so
you have
that
a
they
total,
evenly
you have
brown.
a- So I want to see, this is how it looks like, right? So, and then so it's a big cookie, and, yep, and then so we'll put it back on the stove. Yep. So, and that's a question, how long should we boil? Right, and I said that the rule of thumb, like we've been given from the parents, and they always say, bring the water to boil, put the dumplings in, and then so add in your first cup of cold water, waited for it to bring it to boil again. And then so you repeat it 3 times. So 3 cups of cold water brings 3 times to boil. And that's where the dumpling is about to be done. But when you're looking at it, they should, yeah, so that's what Jessica is doing. The dumplings should be floating at the top of the, the pot. That's right, yeah, get to the top. And so this is the almost. Typically in a family, when you're making dumplings, and the parents will secretly make special fillings for some of the dumplings. So in the old days, you put coin. So this is called the lucky coin.
A coin?
A coin.
Yeah.
They put a real coin there. And
Real
then,
money.
so when the dumplings, so they disguise it so well, so you'll not be
Yeah.
able to see which one it is. So when it's boiled, right?
Yeah.
And then you have a plate full of dumpling you're eating, and then you bite into a coin.
Mhm.
And then that's the time you say, uh-oh, but everybody say congratulations. Yeah, you got the lucky coin.
We used to have that for birthday cakes, the money cake.
Yeah,
Same
so
idea.
that's like a tradition, but nowadays, because people don't really like biting into a coin, so now you can actually put chocolate, you can put some other filling other than the standard
Surprise
filling.
treat.
And then
Yeah,
that's
you
the,
can put the peanuts and things like that, but just make sure that whoever got the special filling, and that's the lucky person. So I think so today, are you guys hiding making one of the dumplings with special fillings?
I'll show the third fold is very easy. You just like snap the edge. You just use 2 thumbs and put them together. Squeeze them. That's it. See, this one is more like a cabbage. It's the white bottom
got it.
and the green leaf like this. That's the easy. Then now I show the traditional one. So here, you put the center together, snap. So we start from the right, the back. First fold, second fold, and the third fold, and a snap the rest of it. So we try then now the left part.
Put it next to this.
First fold, second fold,
Just lay it on the.
third one, and finish the rest. Like this.
Oh, dipping
Want to
sauces.
show another one?
Oh, wait, I want to see this. This is the one I really don't get.
Okay. We just put them together. So we start from the right. The fold.
That is gonna take me some practice.
While Jessica's preparing that, so this will be, so this will be how I boiled the, dumplings that's gonna be served, right? You're putting them into a bowl. You can see here it's a different skins. And I think with some, dipping sauce, this is ready to go. Are you guys ready? We can't wait. Sometimes you make so many of them,
Yeah.
you freeze them, and they
Okay.
can last days or weeks.
Okay.
And so sometimes it's good to host a dumpling party. There's people coming, you make lots of them.
Nice.
And then people take some, other than enjoying them together, pack
Yeah.
them, take home and eat them too. Yeah.
So if you freeze them, when you take them out, how long does it take? You thaw them for some,
No, you're
Sure.
just directly cooking them in a boil water.
okay.
And
while
just
they're
now,
still
of course,
frozen.
it's gonna take more time to cook it.
Okay,
Right, so the cup of cold water method doesn't work anymore. Right?
Okay.
Because it's from frozen.
Frozen,
Yeah,
okay.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yes,
see how
before they,
Beautiful they are.
yeah, see, can we see it? Yeah.
So those are the boiled option.
Yeah.
Okay. We're also gonna have the steam option. For the dipping sauce, usually what we do is we have the mint garlic and the vinegar. So we put the vinegar because we think the vinegar is going to make the dumpling taste better, but you don't have to have the dipping sauce. And sometimes people even put the sugar and then soy sauce and the vinegar together.
And the chili oil.
Chili oil.
Yeah.
For people who like
Bad
spicy.
idea.
So now to make you guys, to whet your appetite, I'm sorry. So I took the first bite into the, the vegan filling, and they're really, really delicious. Thank you, Jessica.
Yes.
This is
Yeah.
really,
Oh,
really
this
good.
is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And way.
Yep.
You're welcome.
So this is so looking for, see, this is after you take a bite, this is look how wonderful the dumpling is. This is why, right? The Chinese saying is there's nothing more delicious than dumplings.
So if you're frying the dumplings, should you use a nonstick pan?
Oh, it's better to use non-stick. You first put some oil, then put the dumpling inside, then add, for example, 10 to 15 W, you add 3/4 cups of water and put the cover in it.
Just put it.
So you can make your own creative dumpling. So we don't have a one, single one-type solution for dumplings. Dumplings supposed to be anything you like.
Yeah.
So
Could be
the
creative.
principal idea is you have the skin and then you wrap them together. So you can do any shape you like.
So when I have a question, how is this differs from ravioli?
Okay, that's a good question.
Yeah,
The Italian dumplings, right?
so this is actually a question for Anna and Mariana. What do you think?
Same concept. It's a
Yeah.
little pocket of
Yeah, it's the same concept.
of flour with a special surprise inside of it that
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's can be boiled,
Mhm.
typically boiled, but you can have fried ravioli too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know how the dough is made.
It's probably the similar
Very
concept.
similar, I would think. I know that I have a friend that had a pasta machine and she would run the dough through it to the machine, with the crank. to
Yeah,
make it
because
very
typically
thin.
the ravioli, the shapes are uniform, right?
Mhm.
So the dumplings are,
Oh, so when they make skin, they don't do what Jessica showed. So
Mhm.
it's thinner around and then thick in the center. Because for the Chinese dumpling, we're supposed to make the skin,
Mhm.
so it should be thick around thinner and then really thin. No, I
Okay,
don't know.
so if you don't want to use the fancy green and the white one, just use the white dough.
Yeah,
Like
that's
this.
how we normally do it.
Yeah.
we usually
Oh,
just
you
use
just break
white
it
dough.
up.
Okay,
Put it in kind of-
the white dough is good enough.
This is really, really, I haven't seen this in a while, because most people just cut it. And so now
Yeah.
she's doing so.
This
she's,
is the traditional way.
that's right. So that's why it's,
Jessica really good.
Yeah.
So the way you make the dough really shows how good you are.
Well, I think that's what
Okay,
the
roll
fresh pasta
down.
is.
and the other thing is that people, right, so the other, they want to see how a family is good at make dumplings. The whole idea is, can you making dumpling from scratch, ready for dinner?
Okay.
Because normally, right, like if you make it an event, we can do this the entire afternoon and
Yeah.
get ready for dinner, right?
Yeah.
But then there's some family, they can come home from work
Yeah.
and start from scratch in an hour, maybe an hour and a half, the
Yeah.
dumplings
Have
are
it
ready.
done.
And
Yeah.
that's really that's the trademark about, the family is really good at making dumplings, yeah. So if I go to a family, they say, do you want to eat dumpling? I say, yes. For now, yes. So then it's made for that dinner, this
Yeah,
family is
it's
super good. Yeah, they're very
Yeah.
good. They're making those are the pros. Because for us, is making a dumpling, it's at least a half-day event.
Yeah.
You have to add the
So
water.
basically you have the pan, right? Then you put the vegetable oil into it. And then you want to have the heat, the power come like around the medium level. Okay. Around medium level, then once the oil becomes hot, then you put then you put the dumpling on top of the pan. And then you just fry them, like you want to have a lid over it. And if you want, you actually can add a little bit water over the dumpling, with the lid on it. And then after 10 minutes, the dumpling is done. Okay, so it's not complicated at all. So it's really like the regular frying job. You don't need to put lots of oil inside the pan, just a little bit.
Yeah, the hallmark of pan fried is you get the golden crispy bottom,
yeah.
but everything else still moisture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the skin always is ready.
Oh,
So
you're
for
seeing it in
family, sometimes we do it as the assembly line. Somebody
Oh,
roll
that's so
the
cool.
skin and somebody put the filling and somebody foil it. Cool.
So, so just, why don't I can knead those. I can make the dumpling. You can do the wrapping. So that way we.
I'll do the wrapping. Okay.
So you can show the steam ones.
So here's the steam.
And you have a special steam oven, is that right? that you
Yes, I
steam
have a
this in?
special steam oven, but you don't need a steam oven steam.
You could just do it over
Yes.
a pan with
You could just do a little
a.
But traditionally, you just do it over a bamboo steamer.
Yeah.
Yes, by food steamer. Okay.
Yeah, so we already mentioned, right? So another Lunar New Year tradition is what we call these hongbao, right envelope or red pockets, right? And traditionally, these are given out from the elder to the young ones, right? The kids can really getting their yearly allowance from this pocket, right envelope. But here, this is a more for the good luck. So we do want to share. So this is now considered good luck charm. So we hand out these red envelopes. And so all the recipients they will, have the best of luck in the year of tiger. So,
Thank you very much.
and,
Thank you.
Thank you.
and so where we should put yours. Anyway, so,
Thank you. Thank
yeah,
you.
so that's so that's it. So happy Lunar New Year.
Happy Lunar New
Yeah.
Year. And thank you, Wade, for opening up our home to us
Yes,
very
thank you.
much. And Jessica
Thank you.
for
Thank
teaching
you,
us
Jessica.
how to do the dumplings.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. And I will send out the ingredients if anyone would like to make the dumplings on their own and watch the video again. Thank you. Good
Yes.
night.
Cheers. Yeah, thank you. Good night. Bye-bye.